Migrating Bring Your IP, BYOIP, addresses between AWS organizations, a step-by-step guide. This podcast is brought to you by Business Compass LLC. We are an Amazon Web Services advanced consulting partner. We build and migrate workloads to Amazon Cloud. Our website is businesscompassllc.com. Our phone number is 973-638-2228. Our email address is contact@businesscompassllc.us. Introduction: BYOIP Migration Challenges. Migrating Bring Your IP, BYOIP, addresses between AWS organizations can be complex and daunting. However, it can be accomplished smoothly with the right approach and understanding of the necessary steps. This podcast will walk you through the entire process, from client configuration to importing BYOIPs to a new organization. Client configuration. Before initiating the migration process, ensure your AWS client is configured correctly. This involves setting up the AWS CLI with the appropriate credentials and ensuring you have the necessary permissions to perform BYOIP operations. Configure AWS CLI. Make sure the AWS CLI is installed and configured with the credentials of the AWS account from which you will be migrating the BYOIPs. AWS Configure. Check permissions. Verify that you have the necessary permissions in the source and destination AWS accounts to manage BYOIPs, including x2:deprovision BYOIP Sidra, x2:import BYOIP Sidra, and x2:describe BYOIP Sidras. Steps to move BYOIPs to a new organization. Migrating BYOIPs involves several steps, including withdrawing the CIDR advertisement, shutting down resources, and deprovisioning and importing the CIDR to the new organization BYOIP. Withdraw BYOIP CIDR advertisement. The first step is to withdraw the advertisement of your BYOIP CIDR. This action informs AWS that you no longer want the IP range routable on the Internet. AWS X2 Withdraw BYOIP Sidr BYOIP CIDR greater than 2. Shut down resources and release elastic IPs. Before deprovisioning the CIDR, ensure that all resources using the BYOIP addresses are shut down and that any elastic IPs, EIPs, associated with the CIDR are released. Example of releasing an elastic IP AWS X2 release address allocation ID EP alloc ID. 3. Deprovision the CIDR. Once the resources are shut down and the EIPs are released, you can deprovision the CIDR. This step removes the CIDR from your AWS account, making it available for import into the new organization. AWS X2 Deprovision BYOIP Sidra BYOIP CIDR greater than 4. Importing BYOIPs to the new organization. After deprovisioning the CIDR from the source account, the next step is to import the BYOIP CIDR into the new organization. This involves specifying the new AWS account and following the import process. AWS X2 Import BYOIP Sidr BYOIP CIDR greater than Sidr authorization context message equals context message signature equals context signature. Script: Deprovision public IP fee for IPs from a pool. To automate the deprovisioning process, you can use a script that deprovisions public IP fee for IPs from a specified pool. Here's an example script. !bin/bosh. #set AWS CLI profile and region. AWS_profile equals default. AWS_region equals US West 2. #list all BYOIP CIDRs. BYOIP_Sidras equals $AWS X2 describe BYOIP Sidras query BYOIP Sidras. Sidr output text profile $AWS_profile region $AWS_region. #deprovision each BYOIP CIDR for CIDR in $BYOIP_Sidras, do. Echo deprovisioning BYOIP CIDR, $CIDR AWS. X2 deprovision BYOIP Sidr $CIDR profile $AWS_profile region $AWS_region. Done. Echo deprovisioning completed. Important considerations. Downtime. Be prepared for downtime as the IP addresses are deprovisioned and reimported. Permissions. Ensure you have the required permissions in the source and destination accounts. IP availability. After deprovisioning, there might be a short period when the IPs are unavailable. Plan accordingly to minimize disruption. AWS support. In case of any issues, do not hesitate to contact AWS support for assistance. Tense conclusion. Migrating BYOIPs between AWS organizations requires careful planning and execution. By following the steps outlined in this podcast, you can ensure a smooth transition with minimal downtime. Always consider the potential impacts on your resources and have a rollback plan. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please share this podcast, visit our website, and follow our social media links.